Now, as we come to this new online thing that we have is total encompassing of almost all of our lives being online, and the fact that you don't walk into a store and pull out your cash and pay your bill and get a receipt then. And in today's world, I had an issue with AT&T, and I basically just want to lay it forth, and because it made me think to the fact that you really have no control over any of your information once you've given it to one of these websites, even though you have the illusion that you think that it's still in your hands and in your control. When for the short term it's not, but the long term it still is. And here's what we have to say. So basically, I allowed myself to use the auto bill pay in AT&T for my new internet service, and basically stupid. Okay, so now I used the automatic bill pay, and then on the day the bill was due, decided, okay, well, I'll pay partial from this account and the other part from this other account, because I'm trying to consolidate all of my bills and move them from this one account. Long story short. So I go in and do this. It says fine. It acts like it's not going to do the prior arrangement that I had set up. So I go on about my business. About an hour later, I receive an email saying that they had gotten confirmation for the payment that I'd sent for the whole bill and my half bill payment. So I'm like, okay. I call them up. I tell them, well, hey, it's not really, what's going on essentially. And I let them know, or I'm telling them what's going on because I've already looked at my bank accounts. I'm like, I watch this stuff. So I've already looked, and because I've done this by a digital check, it essentially still has to go by banking laws, which is, it's essentially 3 days for them to physically print out or digitally print. It's still, they still physically have to print out a check. It's just done in retrospect and signed in receipt of funds later on through the banks. I don't need to get into all that, but basically, I'm trying to explain to them that in their system, they've already billed me for the whole month and then given me a credit for the half month, and it's valid in their system as of right now. So, in their eyes, I'm paid and ahead of, and in 4 days, when they finally realize that this is not going to transpire, they are going to charge me a late fee, which is what I'm telling them. So to stop all of this, I go, how about y'all just, delete the one payment before it even gets done, because it's not done. So none of the agents can grasp the concept of what I'm saying. I finally, 2 hours later, get a supervisor, and he understands exactly what I'm saying. And he tells me that I have to go to the collections department because they're the only one that has access to the system of billing. Now, the only reason I have all this information is because I used to work for Verizon, Sprint, Microsoft, and a bunch of other companies. Always doing customer service, collections, and all, tech support, all this stuff. So I get that there are certain systems that are locked out. They're all corrugated and basically kept out so that if any one rogue agent were to decide to go do something stupid with any one of our information, he can only do something stupid with something within his department set up to what his credentials will allow him to do. Okay? I have no issue with any of this. I have an issue with the wasting of 2.5 hours of my time. The whole time I'm telling them, I don't have an issue if you have to tell me no. Okay? If you can't do what I'm asking you to do, I don't have an issue. I haven't gotten angry, irate, yelled at any one of these people for simply telling me that they have to facilitate their job and they need me to simply wait, or to charge or to tell my bank to do a hold. Because I've let them know, and on the account it shows that all of this was done by ACH, meaning it was a digital check in nowadays. Because there's no way you physically got a check today. But worst case, it's you got a check. So no matter what, you have to wait. Okay? It's just how it works. So whether or not these agents are aware of this, it's not really their job to be, but the ones who are in billing should be aware of this, of how different payment types take different times to post, and handle, and what these different things mean. Like, for instance, when it's pending on your credit card, it's because essentially what I'm saying is happening on a credit card. If the bank, one bank said to the other bank, hey, does buyer have X amount of funds to cover this purchase that he says he wants to buy? The bank goes, yes. Okay, they go, well, set that aside for us and we'll grab that money by the end of legally 7 days. Okay? In 7 days, if they don't grab it and it's still pending, the other bank releases it back to your bank account. Now, that doesn't mean that they aren't still legally due those funds. This is the whole point behind all of this. So to negate all these little banking issues beforehand, which is where they get fees from, I'm telling them that this is going on beforehand. And yet this issue is going on in my favor. So now I've been put on hold by the supervisor. He asked me to go to collections. I go to collections. The collections guy is like, hey, I can't do that. I'm like, I asked him this the whole time to just tell me what I just told all of y'all. Just say it all real short and sweet. Yeah, yes or no. He basically says no. I'm like, okay, I've been in collections. Thank you for not wasting my time at least, because everyone else has been lying and wasting my time. So now I end the call. I'm done. The messed up thing is this bill is all from an installment, or I wasn't even supposed to be charged with in the first place. All I did was order an internet service. I was told that I filled out the AT&T thing. It asked for my credit. It didn't charge me anything. I was like, okay, cool. It was nice to have credit for once to pay your bills. So, being that I just had done all my credit and literally just started paying on another thing to bring it good, is what I'll say. And basically, now I used AT&T, and AT&T, I feel, is taking advantage of the situation, because when I first installed on the address that it said that I could do a self-install on, I was told that my bill would be $55 plus taxes and regulation fees, whatever else. I'm figuring about $70 a month. Okay. So now the kit comes. It's 2 days later. I'm like, oh, crap, it came on my birthday. Matter of fact, I remember that. And basically I had to have them come, because when I plugged it in, the box had no signal. I was like, okay, I'm pretty tech-like. I'm used to this stuff. It probably needs them to fix something between the house and there. So no matter what, I think now I'm going to have an install fee. Fine. So the tech guy gets scheduled, or I call up. They tell me that they're going to schedule a guy to come out and check my wiring. I go, fine. They don't tell me about a fee or anything, because at this point in time, how I find out about the fee is hilarious. So now the scheduled date comes. It's my birthday. I have to wait. The guy comes. He comes. He checks the outlet. He goes, he needs to rewire the thing. I go, fine. How long will this take? He goes, well, it's about 2 hours. Okay. So now I sit back, and he runs it out. He installs it. And he goes, he had to do what he had to do to get it up or something. It was real ugly. And I'm like, fine, okay. On the low, I gave him a gram, some good tree. He was happy. There it is. So, now I meet the other guy. They send 2 people to your house to do one install. The other guy is having me sign up for my registration and wants my phone to sign up through some app. And I'm like, no, you're not getting my phone. And I'll sign up through whatever, through the internet. But if you're asking me to set up the router, I don't need to do that. I know how. And he's like, well, you need to at least make the account for me. So I'll go make the account for him. He sits there. He's got his mask on and everything. And basically, they go. At that point in time, I'm logged into the account. I then see immediately I'm being billed $169. So I'm like, okay. I'm like, oh shit. I guess that's the install fee. So it's $100. So I'm like, well, fine. Okay. So he comes back, and their internet is working now. Because at this point in time, I'm still tethered on my phone. And they're like, oh my God, you can watch TV on your phone. I'm like, yeah, it's doing 10 megabytes. It's fine. So they leave. I'm all happy. Think the internet is good. All in all, I let the month go by, and I'm like, okay, fine. I set up the automated billing. I think that day, gave it my checking information, and then basically this morning, or the day it was due, thought, well, I might as well go in and clear out. Okay, an account I was using as fun and cover half of it, basically. And now I go in and do this, and it acts like I'm basically now superseding what it's calling a payment arrangement. It's telling me that my automated billing, I have a payment arrangement already standing on account. If I make payment today, it will be applied to account. And I go, okay, thank you. It's basically, I'm thinking it's superseding my old auto pay, which is fine. I'm telling it to pay half the balance now. Okay, cool. I'm changing it. Okay. So it submits this, gives me receipt of this, and then it's done. 2 hours later, I get the email telling me that it has billed me for the full bill again. And I'm like, well, why would you even bill me for the full bill? Worst case, you should have billed me for half the bill. Okay, because you already took the other half the bill. How are you going to bill me for the whole bill right after I just paid half the bill? Which is just what's going on. So, I call them up beforehand. I tell them everything I just told you. And now we're sitting here with this. And an install on the wires that I'm going to show is just like for what? Now, as we see for once, we are lucky enough to have this little junction box right here, as I need to change the white balance back because I was inside. But with this little box, right? This little box is the box that I didn't know that they were installing to. But it's just funny, it's here, yet I'm being charged for install from this to the house. And I didn't ask for none of this. All I did was install the internet. See, here was the box. There's the network interface. There's what I was charged $100 for. 6 inches. I'm like, for real. Around here, as you see, it goes right there. See? There's the wire. Goes over to the little jack from the junction box. See, okay.